Hello and welcome to another edition of the SportsHeads. We are very, 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 very happy to have our new friend. Sam's obviously old furniture
Always
there.
happy.
He's always have. We are. Well, I'm going to get this right now. So we're joined by Marlon Favorite.
Favorite, Marlon Favorite.
I knew I messed it up.
Bad.
I knew sorry, just a full disclosure that Marlon was actually coaching me through this, so you'll see it on social. He actually spelled it out. I don't know if you still got the paper. He spelled it out for me, and I still have got it wrong.
It does not surprise me yet.
I still got it wrong. He spelled it out for me.
My ugly handwriting.
And
Favorite.
Like he gave me a dumbed down version.
Favorite. See, this is my favorite podcast I'm on right now. That's how it's spelled.
You see, that's what I'm talking about.
See?
That's what I'm talking about. You got me. No, I appreciate it. How have you been, brother?
Been pretty good. Just been stay at home, following those orders here. I'm in Louisiana, so we just recently had Mardi Gras here, so it was a lot. That's why everything. Yeah, our death toll is pretty high. We had Mardi Gras here, so we had to lock everything down because for Mardi Gras, people come from all over the world here. So we had about maybe 2-3 million people here mid-February. So then the announcement happened with the virus spreading, and then you started to see a lot of folks who had underlying conditions pass. So I just thank God for one that my family is healthy, and then we're just following it, but. Here in the U.S., we're just buckling down. Some states, some of our neighboring states are starting to, next week are starting to open up some things like gyms and stuff like that. But you know us, bro. If they open next month, that means the following month or the month after, hello, somebody. So we've been good at this backyard with the kids playing football, doing draft stuff. Every once in a while, got to get out a little bit, so I'll go jog or go to the grocery store, but just been in here working.
So I was going to ask you because, obviously in the UK, we are on a proper lockdown as well. Key in Akon's music right here. So what's it been? You've got kids yourself, so how has it been for you? Is it difficult, obviously? Spending the immense time that we have to spend with them. I love you kids very much, but
we love our kids, but boy, do we wish they were in school right now. But what's happening though, more family time, right? Because if this wasn't going on, I'll probably be out there in UK with you guys doing some draft stuff. But we have to stay here. We can't even travel to Texas if we wanted. You have to stay at a hotel in Shreveport, Louisiana or something for 2 weeks before you could cross the state lines. It's that real for people coming out of Louisiana for them and Florida. So, so the kids have been here. They've been doing the online class. So my oldest, he's in high school. He's a sophomore. So they've been checking in school, doing those work assignments. My youngest, he goes to international school. He goes to ISL. So they teach Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Me no español. So
I
don't know how he's doing his homework. I just hope all is going well. So they teach him some English. It's crazy.
This is where we get found out here. Sam's going to be joining us at some point. I keep encouraging his other half all the time. You know what? Maybe it's time for kids because I'm just doing that to be spiteful. but there comes a point where you're just you realize what you don't know in school. So you're sitting next to them and they're like, "Was this right?" And you're like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah.
You tell me.
I tell my third grader, look, man, I don't know Spanish like that. So we just, I don't know. But for the most part, it's it's been working out well. Cooking more, man. I feel like I turned into a master chef.
Oh, really? What's the dish?
Yeah.
What's the dish of choice? Yeah.
It's been a lot of what's off of the grill. So
barbecue, man.
The barbecue and inside. So we've been having the summertime Will Smith flow around here lately because the weather's been nice in the backyard. So I've maybe make some baked beans inside, potato salad, hook it up Creole style, and then go on the grill with the chicken. Sometimes my wife wants the Hawaiian ribeye steak. It's delicious.
Okay.
You know what? We're going to get this because tomorrow in the UK is, I think, Sam, is supposed to be some type of heat wave or something like that.
Our heat wave isn't like everyone else's heat wave.
Yeah, listen, we got to take what we can get. So if it ain't raining, it's sunny.
It's nice, yeah.
So y'all, and I was asking Anika this off air. Y'all are on stay home. Y'all can go out for essentials.
We can go out for exercise 1 hour, or you can just go for a walk. As long as you ain't like kind of, taking liberties and just like kind of sitting on the bench, they move you along. But or you can go out for shopping as well.
But most of the stores only make you have one person from the household go shopping. I take that as my go-to peacetime.
So to Sam's partner, that's a lie. So she make sure she has to go with you too. So you spend all that time together.
and it's crazy. Okay, so over here in Western civilization, we can go out to the grocery stores, but we're not being forced. Like when you said an hour outside, like they don't time you. Now, what about y'all essential workers, like folks who are trash canning or working public health or something of that nature? They going to work or they?
Yep, still there, still working, and yeah, they're fighting through quite a lot. So salute to the health workers for sure, because they're well and truly on the front line. But the rest of the guys, postal workers, say the bin men as well. They're all out doing their work, whilst we obviously have that luxury, I suppose, in a sense, being away from it in the house.
I can't get used to. I'm very appreciative of everyone. Just before the quarantine, please come and start tapping away. But although I'm very appreciative, I can't get used to my food. Just someone just like knocking on the door like it's I don't know what it's called in the States, but we've got this thing called knockdown ginger. We used to knock on someone's door and just run off, like as kids used to.
I can't tell you what we call that in the States, but. But I know what you're talking about.
You knew who was the fastest then, because there would always be a door that you shouldn't knock on, that someone just flies out and they're chasing you down, and you realize just how fast you are then. But like now, I can't get used to these guys. Just obviously they have to do it, and everyone has to look after each other. But like knocking on the door, putting my food down, and being like,
back up 2 meters.
Look what my son just brought me, y'all.
What you got?
Oh, there you go.
No, this is something else.
I need that service.
This time he wasn't doing this before the quarantine. Now he cooking breakfast.
You see?
Oh, there you go.
I got a 5-year-old. I'm gonna need to teach her about the grill as well. This is unfair treatment here. So I'm gonna start off with like yesterday's amazing news, because I was speaking to Brian Berlinger earlier on, and literally I was just saying that NFL is a theater that never stops. It always takes away from other people's news, other sports, other things. So I'm going to read out these names just like I did with the other guys. We were looking at Tom Brady, OJ Howard, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and now Gronk has joined the mix. Like, this has got to make these guys. Is this making them like favorites?
You see, first and foremost, it's been an argument that's been going on now, right now for the past, I would say maybe 3 or 4 years. Who's the real GOAT? Drew Brees or Tom Brady? Now, I am from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right? I do rep the 504, but I was a team. I was a part of both organizations, played under both quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I see why Tom is the GOAT. I see why Drew. You know what a lot of people compare this to? I don't know if it was either SI now. I forget what writer said this, but I thought it was a really good read. Tom Brady is Jay-Z and Drew Brees is Lil Wayne.
Interesting.
You look at their career path. If you look at the path of both guys, Jay-Z has always had a solid team around him.
Yeah.
Right? So has Tom Brady, right? Defense wins championships. So you have, on one end, you have the Patriots, Sam and Andre, where Bill Belichick is a defensive mind, right? Where his path was a little different. Tom Brady was a 6-rounder, right? We all know about the Bledsoe era and what happened. It never was the same again. It's over. Yeah. But defense, think about it. He has 6 championships because defense wins championships.
Yeah.
Sean Payton is going down as one of the greatest offensive minds of all time, right? Yeah. You have him going against one of the greatest offensive quarterbacks of all time. About to go hit the crash of the mind now of Tom Brady and Sean Payton and Drew Brees is going to be crazy. Bruce Arians is an open-minded coach.
Yeah.
The fact that those two guys are meeting twice a year now.
Well, we've got some entertainment there.
Yeah, some great fun coming
y'all. The NFC South is like the SEC of football right now.
It is. It's going to be a bit of a mad wallop to everyone. What I'd like to ask, though, from your point of view, at the Bucks, now Gronk is there. Something's got to give. You got Cam Brate, obviously OJ Howard, and now obviously Gronk in there. Do you see one of the two, obviously Howard or Brate, moving on?
Not if they come with the New Orleans approach. Everybody eats, B. Y'all saw Paid in Full before? Everybody eats, B.
Yeah.
And with think about Tom Brady. He's like a kid in a candy store right now. Look what he's always had.
Yeah.
And one year he just had Gronk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he still made that work.
Yeah.
He made Julian Edelman turn into an all-pro receiver.
Yeah.
We were laughing at Julian Edelman, like literally it's pretty much like guys, you're just gonna leave me here, like literally, like, you know, everyone's having fun in the sun down there at some point when we can go out, but like, you know, hey, you're gonna leave me here in the winter? You guys make this work.
The Patriots, we're about. I think the craziest thing in this draft we're about to see is the Patriots moves in the first round. I think that's about to be the craziest because they don't have a quarterback. Let's be honest. They don't have a quarterback. And Bill Belichick and that front office staff do a wonderful job at moving some things around if they have to make some stuff happen and make it work to make a big jump to the first round to go get that quarterback if possible. Because it's a facelift. You're right. They have to do a full rebuild with Tom Brady gone. Because with Tom there, anybody works. Now you got Tom down there with all of that talent, and everybody gonna touch the ball.
And it's just looking like I was saying earlier to the guys, it's like it's a weird feeling with the Patriots because they're not a team to just like kind of mail it in and just think, oh well, we're gonna get picks next season. But like I don't see what's there. It's the cupboard is quite bare there. You know, I could be wrong, you know, because they usually get a UPS driver that will come and score a few touchdowns. But like I've never seen anything like as it is now.
Especially because you have Cody Kessler and you have Jarrett Stidham as your quarterbacks. Yeah. Both combined, I think they're under double-digit passes. Cody was more of a journeyman, and Jarrett Stidham just got to the NFL. So I'm thinking either Cam Newton is sitting out there, bring Cam Newton into the equation. Worst case scenario, if Cam don't work, you still have a veteran quarterback on your roster.
Yeah.
So that works.
See, like you mentioned there, obviously a lot of draft picks that they've got to obviously make those moves and obviously probably revitalize the whole camp there with some people coming in. But for you, what is the process, I suppose, from two sides, from their side bringing players in, but then you as a player now, how do you think this process is going to work with the sort of the virtual camps? Because people aren't going to be able to maybe keep up with the timings. People aren't going to be able to see the moves happening as they should do at the right times, as you would if it was live and seeing the war rooms with your whole team together.
the process is going to be a bit difficult or different this year. I think something that should be mentioned as far as the draft go is entertainment, because if you're going to experience a lot of these glitches in the system, you're going to want to keep the folks that's watching it on NFL Network or whatever outlet is covering the draft. That process is going to be a bit different. This device is going to save a lot, right? Because we know the pick may be off on television, but your phone should get it in. So it's going to be a lot of folks kind of in their phone during the draft. Now, Sam, you talk about the process. We know that the combine happened before the pandemic, right? But some key pieces are missing. No players were able to fly into the facilities and meet GMs, nor GMs had a chance to get their private workout with the guys that they really want. Get to know them. Vice versa, visiting the schools. And pro day. No pro day this year. So those are in the decision-making in that war room. Now they're going all off the tape. In conjunction to that, you don't know what type of player you're about to get, right? Yes, some guys are doing small group training, which is an issue, and it's going against the social distancing we're supposed to practice. But most guys aren't getting the workouts that they usually get because of the pandemic. So now everything's going to happen slowly. Yeah. That's what I get Joe Burrow. Think about it. They draft Joe Burrow first round, first pick. You're inheriting an organization that's been on a downward slump for years in Cincinnati, and you don't have no OTAs. Nor do you have probably won't have some of the summer OTAs. So it's going to be we got to see what happens first, but it's going to be totally different this year, Sam, because of that.
And with the players, say now players that maybe go undrafted, how much more difficult is that going to be for them to try and get into other organisations if, like you say, they're only going off tape or they haven't had a chance to meet those guys? Do you think it'll be harder for undrafted picks?
My heart goes out to them as well. It's going to be harder, and it makes me think back to my third year in the league when we had the 2011 lockout. Well, once the draft happened, teams weren't able to make that decision right after the draft. So now that's all scrambled. The guys that were fresh on their minds after the draft is kind of like, okay, let's see who we can get. So I remember the pain. Playing arena football, I remember talking with one of my teammates, Mike Janik. He was like, man, I was supposed to get picked. I was supposed to get drafted. I didn't get drafted. Man, I know I had so many opportunities with teams, but with that lockout, it was nothing we can do. So it's going to mess up free agency. A lot of talent comes out of late round in free agency, and I really feel for those guys because we don't know how that's going to go. Once the draft's over, now we got to see what the pandemic says to do, and that can kind of alter the next decisions.
So who do you feel at the moment like we should be looking out for?
Like an underdog?
Yeah, other than obviously who we think is going to go obviously second, number one, but like who's the gems that people haven't discovered yet?
I'm gonna stick to who I've seen a lot of, a couple of gems at LSU. I talk about Justin Jefferson. Him and Christian Fulton are two names I'll pay attention to because they were both overshadowed by really, really good day one talent. Jamar Chase is going to he's going to come into the NFL like Zion Williamson came into NBA basketball from that receiver position. He's that good. He is. The next guy, he would be starting in the NFL as a sophomore in college right now if he could play next year, and Derek Stingley Jr. CeeDee Lamb publicly said that's the toughest cornerback he went against ever. So with that being said, and this kid's 18 years old, about to be 19. So wow. Christian Fulton, a first-round cornerback on many draft boards, right, is a guy that's super-duper talented but was overshadowed by a super-duper talented freshman that came in. And then Jamar Chase, really set it off. Won the Bolivia Cup Award. He's 19. He's going into his junior year next year. So, and like I said, I know both of these guys personally, and their parents and their family. Matter of fact, Jamar Chase's dad told me when I first retired from football, I was going to do door-to-door sales. I knocked on Jamar Chase's door. He's a freshman, sophomore in high school. His dad was like, "Man, you that dude from CST television, huh? Man, come on, you gonna talk about my son next year? Come in here." I met Jamar. Jamar came out the back room. He had a low fade. He's like, "I'm telling you, this is my son. I'm not pulling my coattails because this is my boy. Watch him next year at Romo High School." Man, wow. And the rest was history. Dog, that dude is so talented. So those are two guys in the first round. Now, later rounds, I think Dallas might get these two guys. I've seen maybe one or two draft boards agree with me on this one. I think they'll go Kayvon Chasson, first round, first pick, and they get like a Rashad Lawrence with one of their later picks, defensive tackle from I think they get two guys from LSU. Take it inside the trenches, man, like my podcast for a second. Rashad Lawrence, because of the scheme that LSU ran, we didn't really get to see the type of pass rusher this kid is and the type of impact he could make. Now we're hearing his name pop up as one of the top defensive tackles, but I mean the film doesn't say it all with this kid. So those are some sleeper guys I'm just thinking about off the top of my head.
And obviously with these moves, if you've got in mind a draft now. But going into that after the draft, what teams do you see sort of shaking the leagues up a little bit? So obviously we spoke about the Bucs, obviously going to buck the trend a little bit and maybe change things a little bit. But what other teams do you see maybe getting out their division that they didn't last year and making the playoffs?
Well, I think right now you're wearing one of them. I do think Kyler Murray is a talent. They get Tristan Reese at the left tackle position, a speedy left tackle, ran a 4.8, something crazy at the combine, out jumped CeeDee Lamb and those guys in the vertical. You bring him in. Now you have DeAndre Hopkins over there at the receiver position. I just had Patrick Peterson on live next year. He's hungry. Patrick said he's self-quarantining and working out by himself, doing DB drills by himself. He ready. He watching film. He's ready to wreck it up. Arizona, maybe with a rocky NFC West now. You know, the 49ers, yeah, they're over there. Seattle's over there, but LA isn't the team that they've been before. They might can sneak one of those wild cards. And then I'm going to go back to the NFC South, man, with the Carolina Panthers. One sleeper, little tidbit here. Teddy Bridgewater spent a year in New Orleans with Joe Brady. Spent a year in New Orleans with Joe Brady. We saw what Joe Brady did at LSU. Now he's the offensive coordinator at Carolina with that receiving core. With I think they just added Robbie Anderson. You have DJ Moore still there. Christian McCaffrey catching out of the backfield, doing some of that stuff we saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU do this year and what Elvin Kamara does in New Orleans. It got ugly down there. Todd Gurley in Atlanta. The NFC South is just it's too much right now. Tom Brady, you got to go here. It's just a lot, guys. So those are two teams, Carolina and Arizona.
It's quite exciting because normally it's like obviously conference-wise, you're normally just looking at the NFC East, which is like obviously like the battle royal. Everyone's always like crabs in a barrel trying to, pull each other down. But like now it's quite interesting because obviously you have every conference is deep now. So it's one I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm going to ask one, and now you've given Sam some hope with his team. Now, I was thinking, why did you do that? Because now I'm not going to hear nothing else except for, this is our year. well, I know it's not our year, and I'm a Giants fan. So is there anything that Mr. Gettleman is going to do? I'm being nice to him today. Well, this hour.
This will be a short answer to this one.
What moves do you reckon that they're going to make?
I'm doing some tweaks right now to my first round. I have New York. You're gonna like this, and I like this kid because of what he does. on the offensive side of the ball as a lineman, I had them going with Jedrick Wills Jr., offensive tackle from Alabama. I think this is how I look at it, and I'm gonna give you your props to the Giants, even though y'all playing against. I'm a New Orleanian, and I love the Saints, but ever since a kid, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, and they telling you, man, it's about to get scary in the NFC East too now. It's not as bad as the NFC South. But think about it this way, right? Last year, y'all drafted a quarterback in Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones. I think he's talented. Is he Sam Darnold young talented? Maybe so. I think he can do a little bit more with his feet.
Yeah.
You have Saquon Barkley. In my opinion, Saquon is the best running back in the NFL right now, hands down. And now you add Jedrick Wills Jr., our offensive tackle from New York, to that mix. Now you have a powerful. This guy is strong. He can do the run block for Saquon. I see a lot of, maybe lead 28 or a little bit of 28 toss to show off some of that speed and strength he has on some of those plays with Saquon. Saquon's going to love him. Daniel Jones buy more time in the pocket to make some of those passes. I do think New York is better. Y'all don't have, LSU superstar Odell Beckham anymore, so y'all regrouping. Y'all, Odell was a little – I know he was a cancer to y'all a little bit. I understand.
The universe keeps on lining this up, for me. And,
every time.
Every podcast that we have, there's been an Odell rant and there's been a Browns rant.
Yeah,
and,
every time.
And – I literally every single time, and I'm thinking, this one in particular, there's no way it's going to come up.
And I brought him up. Oh, man.
So I can see Sam's eyes.
It takes up, it's like man. Half the show goes, and you see Andre not take a breath talking about Odell and the Browns. every time.
Single time. No, because it's the time when he brought out the GOAT. It still bothers me to this day. He brought out the GOAT cleats to Tom Brady in front of his QB. And then there's this picture, and I'll find it and I'll make sure that I put it out again because I enjoy that picture so much of someone just looking. There's a famous picture that's around where a guy's with his girlfriend and he's looking at the other girl behind him, and that's the meme. That was it. That was the same exact thing. So it's I'm very glad now. Although we've got I call Get Him and Fuzzy Bear because he's always telling jokes, these terrible jokes all the time. So I'm very glad that there's less divas in Giants, but I just feel the jar is not full in any form of way.
It's not.
I narrowed it down, Sam. That was a short rant.
Marlon,
I don't go bad, and I don't just because we're talking a little draft here. I do have them going offensive tackle too. Lost my train of thought. Micah Becton, big boy who ran a 5 flat at 360 at the combine. I think they go with him, so I think they go offensive line as well. That's enough of the Browns. I got you. We done with the Browns. I got you. That was it.
That is the shortest. That is the shortest. But I'm gonna just warn you. Basically, next time this ever comes up, if you've ever seen Frozen, the song "Let It Go," I'm gonna play that every time. That's gonna be my jingle every time.
I don't know. It just got to me, the whole thing, and I think it got to every single Giants fan. But it's just because we've got nothing else to concentrate on. Because our season is pretty much over by the third or fourth game. So
maybe sooner.
Yeah, probably.
It might be a little fight over there. You never know.
So
it's interesting.
So we're looking at. So are you kind of set on Joe Burrow being the number 1 draft pick?
I am. I did entertain before the Teddy Bridgewater deal happened that Carolina might try to make a jump to try to make that marriage between Joe Burrow and Joe Brady happen again, because how magical it was for LSU. You got a college coach coming over and Matt Rule from Baylor to Carolina. So when you have that type of fresh, that type of new, kind of like what you guys have out there in Arizona and Kingsbury and Murray, it's a different element. It's just a total different element in that regard.
But then obviously the Bengals organization, which, you know, many podcasts and other establishments are obviously talking about, is where do you see that organization going if they were to let go of the first round or first pick?
All right. Okay. If some kind of crazy way they don't go with the obvious, the smartest move to make, Ohio native Joe Burrow in that first pick, and let's say, for instance, they flip with, I don't know, let's flip a coin. Let's say, I don't know, Washington. Let's maybe say who may actually take a jump. Miami makes sense. Miami and Cincinnati makes sense because they'll just swap. Because I think Cincinnati would do that because they think maybe Tua is still around and maybe we can go get Tua. Or Cincinnati wants to trade back because there's so much value in the first pick. So you just never know how this thing goes. But Andy Dalton isn't it, right? It's just he wasn't it. Never really did anything with it. You had AJ Green. He's over there like, come on, please just draft Joe Burrow, man, so I can get my numbers back up. He saw NFL talent. He saw it catching the ball down there from that dude. I want that quarterback, you know. And Tua wouldn't go wrong either. So again, those Justin Herbert has the size, you know, but Tua and Joe Burrow is the two best quarterbacks in this draft.
It's a shame because, like you said, they got AJ Green, Joe Mixon there as well. I think is a talent in the league. But AJ Green, correct me if I'm wrong, he got the franchise tag, right? So it's hard to escape. So he wants that, right?
That's what he's like. Please, I'm stuck here. I can't. This is it. I'm tagged.
Yeah, not a place to be. Not a place to be.
Michael Thomas made all that money last year. He wasn't gonna be too mad about that tag because that's a boatload of money up front.
Mm-hmm. He's the definitely one of. Well, we basically do our podcast because it actually gives us time to be able to research for our fantasy because that just literally just takes over our whole lives. Do you play and are you as addicted as other people like ourselves?
Yeah. I'm pretty addicted, and I want to join with y'all next year too, bro. We have us a season. I want to get in with y'all. Y'all see?
It'd be nice to have some proper competition because Andre is just not great.
Here we go. This way. No,
it'd be nice.
Hey, you know who my running back was last year, Andre?
Who's? Oh, do you have Saquon?
I had Saquon, bro. I had him. Though. He saved me a lot of weeks.
Well, I'll tell you my story about my draft. I was in Greece. And so we're in this little like island, like where it was lovely, having a great time. Then I realized that we have to do the draft when I'm over there rather than obviously being here. The Wi-Fi is not the greatest there. So if you can imagine someone standing on some garden furniture outside on a balcony trying to get Wi-Fi because the draft my Wi-Fi was going. And literally, I had to go on auto draft. So I picked Todd Gurley. And then I can't remember who the other one was. Oh, it was the gentleman.
It was irrelevant. Don't worry about it. You were at the bottom somewhere.
It was the running back from it escapes my mind at the moment, from Detroit. And he got injured halfway through at the start of the season. So it was a uphill struggle. You know, the whole time.
That happened to me last year. I was cooking. Go cook some food right now. So I'm in the kitchen cooking, and before you know it, I got the baby, and it auto-draft. So
we're gonna get you in. We'll get you in our one because I don't mind who wins as long as it's not Sam. Anyone.
Sam must have won them all.
Like I you know what? I even start to give players away. Like I literally.
He's hating. Obviously, the year I won it, he was not happy. He didn't want to speak to me. He didn't want to speak to me.
That's funny.
That was a long summer. So tell us, like, you know, just in your career, you know, you've gone from playing to actually, you know, being in the media. So how was that transition?
It was cool. Wasn't as smooth financially at first because when you go at entry level, you do high school games and it's a lot of the work seasonal. But last year was a really great experience doing a lot of work with the NFL, attending the broadcast boot camp, working the Super Bowl with them this year. So I feel fully in. And then I came out to Sky Sports, spent some time with Anika and them at the league office out there doing some work. I enjoyed, really loved going out to London. Sidebar, glad I went there when I did. All this crazy stuff going on now.
Yeah.
So it's the transition for the most part. I love it because you have to. I did leave football on my own terms. I was playing my last year arena football, and I just felt like it was time to transition into what I went to school for, what I love doing, sports broadcasting. And it's been wonderful having the opportunity to work with LSU Sports Network, come out there with you guys, do some stuff with NFL Network. I definitely have to get y'all on my podcast, Inside the Trenches. Maybe.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
It'll be on.
Really cool.
So tell our people, our listeners, our friends of the show. I call them now. We can't act too Hollywood, Sam. It's Sam that makes me this way. Like I'm pretty humble. So to tell them where they can find you and about your podcast.
It's on iHeartRadio. It's Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite. You can also get it on iTunes or wherever there's podcasts. And we do sports and entertainment. So I usually take the first two segments and talk about either hot topics in sports, or we'll have a guest on. Did a lot of interviews with some of the celebrity guests. I just hooked everything back up in my studio here in the back home. So me and my son, we're going to do episode 202 Inside the Trenches. Because I was over at iHeart recording them, excuse me, and then this happened, and it's like, I'm going to just stay at home, so I'm glad to record our next episode.
It's made everyone go back to being actually creative a lot more, because obviously, when you start out, especially as you're progressing, then you get used to the niceties and the guests being brought to you. Like now I think we all have to kind of tap dance a little bit more. The survival of the fittest now.
Yeah, but it is survival mode, and in here is really, again, one of those situations where football is king here. So the Saints fans are, because right now American Trail said no sports till 2021 here in New Orleans. So that means if this happens, and now you're dealing with the Saints, the Superdome, and Hurricane Katrina. Katrina. I was talking with Mike McKenzie on yesterday. We always check on each other's family, and we ended up. He ended up reliving that year, his second year in New Orleans, the year before Sean Payton got there, 2005. He was like, folks forgot he even played. Well, what happened was you play in all the other markets, and then most of their games were played in San Antonio. They even came to LSU and played some Saints games at that deal when Katrina hit. So from what our mayor is saying, that's what it's about to be. Like no sports in 2021. So I don't know.
That's a struggle. Crazy. Like honestly, like it's a weird time, because obviously there are more important things that are going on in the world, and obviously people's lives, and obviously like the frontline workers are risking their lives for us, and I have family that do it, and it puts things into perspective. But my God, I miss sports, like I really do.
Because I don't think Baton Rouge that's probably not gonna rock with them, man. So if we can do sports, LSU gonna play. So I don't know if here's the big thing, y'all. In New Orleans, we have a lot of festivals. Mm-hmm. So like Jazz Fest was supposed to be this upcoming weekend. Mm-hmm. Jazz Fest, you have hundreds of thousands of people all on one fairground. So in the pandemic we in, so all of that's canceled. She even went as far as July with Essence Festival, which you guys would love. Yes. That. All the talent come here in New Orleans. So you have Essence Fest, that's canceled. And what she's saying is this Superdome is in Orleans Parish, because we have parishes here. we're not. So maybe things change. I guess as the whole world right now, we are all in the same situation, seeing how long the pandemic is going to be like this. But it's hopefully.
It's given parents definitely in particular a new level of patience that we didn't understand. That we didn't know. So don't worry, Sam. It's coming to you at some point, and I'll be there when it happens.
I'm hoping there's not another pandemic when I have kids. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. That's for sure. But
it just needs to be some type of reason for your particular area to be locked in, like
Just me, yeah. Okay, that's nice.
Wait outside.
Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna come off that subject of pandemic. I was actually wanted to ask you, Marlon, and with the 4 games now, obviously due to come over to the UK, what was your first impression of games when they were coming to the UK? So I think the first game 2007 to now. Has it changed? Has your opinion changed on that?
It's changed a lot, just because back then information technology was so different. So I had a lot of buddies that played in NFL Europe, and no one ever knew because in America we weren't able to watch the games. But after traveling over because that was my first time to the UK this past December when I came out there by you guys. It was my first time ever. Wow. And seeing the stadium and seeing the fan base there and the fact that NFL is so fresh there. So It seems so prehistoric here, but it's so fresh over there since you guys just got it in 2007. I like it. I love the idea of it. I think it could potentially turn into something where if it gets up to about 8 games, then now that's like a full season out there to combine with, I know, the overwhelming amount of soccer and rugby over there, which I thought that was cool coming over there. You see more FIFA. You usually see Drew Brees and Michael Thomas hanging around. You see the FIFA stuff around. This is pretty cool. This is dope. I ain't trying to play FIFA, but everybody, they enjoy it. So I was right cheering with them. That was new. That was new for me.
And Sam, don't try to recruit Marlon to be an Arsenal fan. No. I don't think you want to.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, this is.
I'll start the tapping up process after.
I know. I could see what was going to happen here. No, you want to go with the champions-elect Liverpool. That's who you want to go for.
No, because
that's LeBron actually owns part of that team too as well. Just
Oh, no, LeBron fans, Liverpool. Okay, Liverpool.
Yeah, there you go. Sold.
Okay, I see how that's going.
He hit me with the LeBron and the champion. That's 2 things I love.
That's all you need. Just quickly, did you get to watch the obviously the show on about Michael Jordan? I don't know if no one had anything else to do, but the Last Dance. So did you get to watch it?
So what ended up happening was I did not have the TV. I had all the TVs in the houses was occupied by all, and my wife was like, "Nope, you better record it." So I plan on watching it. And I'm drove because you wake up to Monday morning and it's everybody talking about. So I kept cutting off my radio when I was driving. I drove inside because I don't want to hear no more about it, from what I didn't see from the preview. And I want to sit down and give that my full attention because that's one of my favorite childhood memories. Yeah. 2 favorite childhood memories was watching those Bulls teams make that run in that last dance, how special it was, and that team came together. And that late 98, 99 run with Kobe and Shaq. Because when we didn't have Jordan, I had to find as a kid another player to attach to, and that player was Kobe Bryant, and that Laker team was super cool back in the late 90s. So I'm going to watch it. I know there's a lot of history. Go ahead. Y'all can spoil us some stuff for me. It's cool.
No spoilers.
I want you
spoilers.
I want you
to see that. Yeah, it's well worth it. It's so good.
I think it as well, especially because I'm old enough to be able to remember him playing, and the whole buzz around him. So I think for new generations of fans or just all sports, it kind of encourages you to be able to keep on, pushing and pushing and pushing. So be it if it's your podcast or be if it's like in your own professional life, like anything. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be an athlete. It's just the mental side of Michael Jordan. There, that's that. Honestly, if when you finish watching it, if it's not too late, you'll start working straight away. Like that's how.
So it's that type of motivation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Honestly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. All right. So it's two things I've been looking at on this subject. The fact that we are in a pandemic. Colin Cowherd had mentioned this on his show. This what made me thought about it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of new people who knew of Michael Jordan but didn't see him play. Mm-hmm. How many new folk? Because, that's another argument. Who's the GOAT? LeBron James or Jordan? We know Jordan. Jordan, we've seen what this dude doing. We've seen that, right? So that going on. And a plus, with this going on, we've been seeing these IG lives. Did y'all check out Teddy Riley versus Babyface?
Well, the weekend, the third one?
Yes. The second one. It was cold. It was fire.
I watched the first one, which I still to this day like. There's who's that guy? I forgot his name. Who did the meme of it? He did his own version of it.
Spice Adams.
My God, I still watch it to this day. Like sorry, on the Jordan thing, I think I think that it's gonna teach a lot of you already had one NBA player, young one. I forgot his name now. He came out and said, "Oh, actually, I thought LeBron was the GOAT, but now it's definitely Jordan." Mm-hmm. I don't see how. I mean, my favorite player actually wasn't Jordan; it was Kobe. So that's my favorite player. So I don't see how he's just people have just like kind of overstepped Kobe and overstepped other players.
It's generations though. It's generations of what they've seen and the exposure to them. So, but what this time has given is people are appreciative of where it's come from. So you go LeBron, Kobe, and that's like who inspired Kobe. You see Kobe talking about Jordan, and now everyone's now found the original GOAT, right? And this is where this program is giving that even more exposure, and everyone's like, oh, that's where it started. It's so funny because obviously when people were saying they had like a crumpled bit of paper and they would obviously throw it into a bin, people now are shouting LeBron. Previously, people were shouting Kobe, but our generation, we're shouting Jordan. And this is where it's like, now they're understanding, why were you shouting this guy's name this whole time? And it's just actually showing how big he was. Like, people only know Jordan for his sneakers, right? For certain generations. That's all they knew. It's like, who is this Jordan guy? And it's like this shows you like, how big.
Blasphemy. That is like I don't understand how anyone can not. Like, if you're into the sport, like, obviously, we're into pretty much all sports, I'd say, as all sports fans. You watch the history of it, because if you love the game, I think maybe generations is different now. This is my old man on the lawn thing. I just feel that, like, it's because if you're like an Insta fan, which a lot of these guys are Insta sports fans, then because Sports Center would always be like literally tweeting about LeBron every 2 seconds and things like that. It gets to a point where it's just like, okay, you're being bombarded with this messaging where it actually doesn't actually make any sense. Where if you've got someone who's gone to 6 finals, 6 MVPs, 6 championships, and done 2 3-peats, well, what's the conversation? And then under that, then you have Kobe, who's got 5 championships, and the last 2 championships, he actually pretty much got this rag and bone team. Besides he had Gasol, he got them to win 2 championships on his own without Shaq. So, like, I don't really, and there's no super teams formed with any of these 2 teams. And then even if you want to go to like the older generation, which they always will, like, the older basketball players, it's like you've got some people that aren't able to be able to form super teams and make it easier for you to be able to get a championship.
Right. And to interject on what both you guys are saying, it makes a lot of sense. If we're going to go GOAT, I mean, Bill Russell had 11 rings. We talk about what Wilt Chamberlain did, but Mike was the first guy to revolutionize the game and bring it to where it is now, like that. And he was doing it playing that basketball. Yeah. See, that's another thing. Kobe caught a whiff of that basketball LeBron, most of his time is with this basketball, the Steph Curry basketball. So I think not undermining that side of it as well. And the fact that our eyeball test passed it. Like, we saw Jordan with the flu.
Yeah.
This generation, not popping. So I think
they'll be sitting and watching. They'll be sitting and watching. Like that. They'll be like, no, I'm sorry. I coughed once. Actually, no one's allowed to cough anymore. So that's
no coughing.
We had a conference call and someone coughed and everyone started putting their mask on, even though it's a conference call. So it's like, so I shouldn't. I'm joking, people. I'm joking.
Panic is real. Real.
So just lastly, just before you go, now you mentioned and you've actually just teased us with a plate of food. Like for our barbecue tomorrow, because Sam and I always have when one barbecues, the other one has to compete, no matter what. So give us your favorite thing to barbecue, and if you can, like a quick recipe.
No worries. I like barbecue chicken wings. I'm not a big thigh chicken on a grill. I like the wings because the flavor's closer to the bone, right? So what I do, my barbecue chicken, so I let it season and I let it marinate. So I add mustard in it. I add a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce, right? Add some of that. If y'all have some hot sauce out there, add the kind that y'all have. Season it with lemon pepper. Mix it on up. Add additional seasons, whatever your 2 additional seasons are, whether you want a little more spice or a little more. And I sit there and I let that stuff marinate for about sometimes 24 hours, sometimes a little less. Let it get very, very tender. And I use mesquite choco, right? And what I'll do is I'll let that smoke get right where it needs to do, and I'll cool side one and then do a hot side and just let that thing grill on there, man. Let that stuff bubble up and get juicy. And then I come over with my barbecue sauce, right? I make this special barbecue sauce. So after the chicken is really nice and cooked, I put it on the cool side while I have foil on it, and I barbecue it all down on the grill, sprinkle a little lemon pepper on it. Man, good to the bone.
My mouth is
I'm not hungry
already. Now, I know. I'm like,
now.
when you're thinking like, what about the plans that we had for dinner before? And I'm like, I'll be like, so what we
season that stuff good, y'all. Season it real good.
You can't. I have to change it up now. I might go out there now.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
So tomorrow. So where do we catch you on? Are you on Instagram and Twitter? What's your handles?
Yeah, at BigFave504, BIGFAV 504 on Instagram or Twitter. I'll make sure I text it over to Nika as well. Yeah. Y'all can follow me. The link for my podcast and that Inside the Trenches with more.
We got to join on that.
Yeah, we're on that.
We definitely we'll be honored actually to join it, and it's like this has been one of my favorite interviews of all time now. Honestly, I really do.
100.
I do appreciate you taking.
He's got that barbecue recipe. That's why.
Yeah, because it's mostly because of that. Like we could have been speaking about food the whole time, and the guys would be like, "You gonna ask some football questions or something?" Like, what's going on? Like, so guys, for our football content is at SportsHeads official, and Verge Magazine as normal. And then we've got a new channel now at Alternative Sports. See, we're busy here, Marlon. I'll tell you, we're making things happen. It's all because of Jordan. Like this is. I
can't wait to watch it.
We haven't been able to play like games or nothing like that. We've just been working the whole time. So So catch us on at Alternative Sports on Instagram, and we will be putting out content like this all the time, and we're going to be making sure that Marlon comes back, especially as this lockdown, as we're all grounded.
We can have a cook-off edition.
Oh,
I like it. Hey, if y'all go to my Instagram, I think it's still in my stories. Check the stories out. You're gonna see I had the cool side and the warm side. I put it all.
I'm on that.
Oh,
I'm getting that.
I'm gonna be expected to be tagged in tomorrow. That's gonna happen. And I don't cheat like Sam. Like I literally get the sticks in the woods and do it all together like a Boy Scout. Like
he's lying. He's lying. He gets his kids to help him.
I'm like, you guys better blow.
That's funny.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you guys spending time. This has been a great way to be able to pass the time, and we'll make sure we get you on again. Definitely.
Man,
100%.
do that for sure, brother. And I get
Thanks
y'all
again.
on as well.
Yeah, please.
When y'all get it, man. Shoot me the link, man. I'm gonna repost it on my Twitter when y'all get the episode.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you. Peace.
Peace out. Be safe, fellas.